do a quick tour of the deck of our boat. It's our Brewer 44, great offshore cruising boat. We've put a, I don't know, handful of thousands of miles on it so far, and we're now in Newport, Rhode Island, preparing for Tropical Storm Isaias. And so we're just about to start taking some head sails down, but before we do, we're going to give a quick tour. So we'll start up at the front. The heart of everything on a cruising boat is your anchor. So stuck in the mud over here is a 73-pound rock nut anchor. Works really well. Attached to all chain, 270 feet of pure chain, backed up by a big old New Zealand windlass, which works really well. Which also has a clutch, so you can open it up and let it freewheel out. But I guess it's a little stuck right now. Need it locked off. So we had, when we're offshore sailing, we have a big ratchet strap, stainless steel ratchet strap. This is critical to not letting the anchor bounce around, so you have to have some way of immobilizing the anchor so it can't move or come free or whatever. So we just ratchet strap it down, and we put a safety on it, just a piece of Dyneema. We just run through the chain and then luggage tag itself over Samson post. So between those two, we got a couple ways to keep the anchor well secured up on deck. So moving backwards a little bit, we have two roller furling head sails. These work really well. We got a larger Genoa and then a staysail. It's like always having a storm sail rigged and ready to rock. The wind pipe's over 25, you just unroll it and you just do what you need to do. It works really well. This also works really well. You see on the clew of our Genoa, we have this this big continuous loop tied on here, and this allows us the ability to tie on extra lines if we did happen to break a sheet, or if we want to put a tweak and change the angle. Giving us 3 more feet away from the clew, we can actually reach this point, tie on extra lines, and run through a whisker pull or whatever you need to do. It gives us a convenient attachment point a few feet away from the clew. On a high clewed sail, that's really, really critical. So yeah, that's the bow. Moving back, boats have lots of great ventilation. We have the Dorade vents here, stainless. If we're encountering big heavy weather, we'll spin them backwards, prevent water ingress. Hatches, obviously. We have some nice covers here. If we're in the tropics, we have lots of tropical rain. So these go over, you slide a batten in them, and they tie over to as a rain protectant. So this ties horizontally, you pull it nice and tight, and then it's squall proof. Squalls can roll through and don't get any rain down below. So allows us to leave the hatches open when we have a high risk of rain. So that's that. Lots of good hand grab rails around the boats as you're going forward. We're going to have on the handrails going forward, very critical. Bean bag. We have a nice foredeck awning. It's a great spot up here to read, hang out when the awning's put up. Also on passage on around watch, works really well to relax in. So there's that. Real simple mainsail with a nice stack pack. Holds the sail, ready to rock. We keep the main halyard tied at all times to keep things easy to go. So it's connected and ready. So all you have to do is unzip the sail and away you go. Minimize time to get it up and going. We made the stack pack recently. I put a nice collar on it, so it keeps all the sun and the water off from the top of the sail, which is really nice. Keeps the sail lasting long as possible. So that works well. Real simple reef system, really simple, really robust, really strong. Big winches to control all the reef lines. So we have reef lines come out of the bottom of the boom here, go to a big winch right here, so I don't have to bear away or round up into the wind to release any load. While running dead downwind in high winds, I can crank a reef in right from here. It's really critical to keep the boat off the wind while reefing. That's really, really essential. So big winches to control reef lines, critical point. Also really, really great is a good strong preventer. When you're running off the wind, the boom is out. You have to keep the boom in a safe position from accidental jibes. So the strongest way to do that is a strong preventer that leads to the end of the boom. So these pennants are permanently rigged along the boom here. They tie to the end, so you never have to get towards the end of the dangerous part of the boom if you're at sea. You can come right here in the middle part of the boat. You grab the pennant here. You grab the pre-rigged line here. You just tie them together. Throw a couple hitches on it. From the cockpit, you pull this tight, and it holds the boom nice and secure. And this runs all the way up to the bow and all the way back again. So as strong as they possibly can be. Real gentle angles, keep the loads down. And if we need a jibe, we can, from the cockpit, release it, not have to leave the cockpit. So it gives us a lot of options to control it safely from the middle of the boat, which works really well. That's our beautiful preventer. Let's see, what else? Yeah, we got Vang with a kicker, so the boom is supported. So we can remove our toppling lift and nothing to bang around up there. Have a life raft up here. We don't really intend to use it much. It's really a, it's for fires. I mean, the boat's in good shape and we don't really expect to board the life raft in, I guess, other situations. But moving back, nice Dodger with bimini. We have the polycarbonate. It gives it, it's really clear. You can't roll it up, but it's much more translucent. It's really good optical quality, lasts a lot longer, and that works really well. So it's our beautiful polycarbonate enclosure. Trying to think what else. Just moving back to the cockpit here. We have a big, open, spacious cockpit. Most 50-footers are envious of our cockpit. So you can seat 8 to 10 people around. If you have a big group, we'll move the steering wheel out of the way. So you can just put people all the way around. You also have 2 good sea bunks on both sides. So the off watch, or even if you're on watch and taking a little snooze, you can get a nice little nap in. We have attachment points for tethers in the corners of the cockpit here, so you can clip into the base of the cockpit, be nice and secure. We also have it set up so if you want to put a lee cloth in rough weather, you can tie from here to here down an attachment point and put a lee cloth across here, keep you in the bunk there. Real simple equipment. We have depth, wind, and speed. We have a new VHF which has the AIS receive, so you can see all the other ships and put a watch circle warning. So if ships come too close, it'll beep and notify us. We have a very important aloe plant, so if you get a burn, you can treat your wounds from here. Let's see. Extra solar up here. We'll talk about the solar back there. We have a hanging anchor light. I like to have an anchor light that stays real low, so we just plug it in here. Hangs just above the boom, keeps the light real low on the deck, lights up the boat. And in a busy anchorage, lots of dinghies, you really want light low, light up, illuminating the boat so nobody hits you. Back here at the helm, really simple, big wheel for lots of control. So lots of leverage, makes sailing easy. And then obviously, like I said, we remove it if you have a big party. Autopilot control right close on hand. Engine instruments. We have a dedicated radar, 4kW radar with radar display. So you have all the functionality like the gain and the alarms. Easy to control from buttons designed to control radar. So we prefer this over a multi-function display which has the ability to control radar, because then all the important buttons like putting an electronic bearing line would have to be in some menu you have to pull up. So we like dedicated radar, right up, ready, easy to use, works really well for us. Obviously trusty compass. We have a good amount of winches everywhere to control lines, so we have clutches to control our 2 furling lines. Everything we design and try and keep organized, easy to use, quickly. So the furling lines we control, they're called Lark's heads. The idea is they're quick and easy to deploy. So if you need to pull the furler out, you pull the line, lay it out, it's ready to go free. Same thing with all the sheets. They're tied in big loops, easy to grab. One hand, she's off. Another one, she's ready to go free. So everything's ready to go, easy to deploy. So if you ever have the engine stop working, it's not a big effort to get get some sails out and get sailing. So just keep everything easy to go. Extra winches to control everything. We have the preventers. Like I said before, this is the preventer. Run back here, along with the furling line. So everything's convenient. And then we have the jack lines with tethers. So we leave them, everything pre-rigged. You never know when you're going to need them. So we have tethers all over. We have tethers that connect and stay in the cockpit. We have these that stay on the lines. You can walk to the aft, walk to the bow, and you clip in. I should mention too, we have a dedicated tether up on the mast. So when you go up, you walk up tethered in to the mast. Once you get there, you switch tethers, connect to the mast tether, and then you can walk all the way around the mast, deal with reefing, unhook snags, while being connected to the middle of the boat. So very safe and secure. When you're connected to the mast tether, you can't physically reach the edge of the boat. So you take your time walking up on the side tether up there, reconnect in, switch tethers, and then you're super secure. So that's that. This is the preventer for the port side. Yeah, I think that's it for the cockpit. Let's keep going to the aft deck. Winches.
The cockpit locker.
Cockpit locker. Of course. Big old deep cockpit locker. It's a bit messy right now. We got all kinds of things in here. Polishers, we got bosun's chairs, we have sun awnings. This thing can hold all kinds of stuff. Everything you might need. You can have a generator in there, a spare generator, all kinds of goodies. Big, lots of storage everywhere. All right, moving on back. EPIRB, we carry it's a float-free container with a hydrostatic release, so if the boat ever were to sink, this container would deploy and auto-launch an EPIRB. So that's good. So I'm particularly fond of this setup back here. We bought this arch off Craigslist because I knew I wanted a particular design. I couldn't afford to have it welded up for me, so I bought it and modified it. So I cut out about 8 inches out of the middle of it and shrunk the width, and then I added a couple extra feet to the legs. We cut the pipe. I cut the bird's mouth on these pipes here, and we put a pipe inside to extra support it and had a welder weld it out. Particularly proud of this extra crossbow we had made up installed. So the solar panels have lots of strength fore and aft. You see so many times panel is just precariously mounted on a little arch, and they have lots of windage, and I just see them wanting to blow away. This is they're bolted to the rail up front and all the way in back, so it's really, really secure, very strong, works really well. Also, great installation of the radar. Put a lot of care and thought into this. So you really want to look at your radar. You have a certain angle that the beam spreading is going to occur. This is about 22-degree beam angle, vertical beam angle, so 11 degrees above and below horizontal. So at this elevation, it clears all of the cockpit, so you have no irradiation from the radar when you're in the cockpit. You can stand in the back deck and be below it, very safe. It's also great for accessibility though. It's not up the mast. If anything were to go wrong, I can easily access. It's a few bolts, all the wiring is external. I cut a few zip ties. I can put the whole unit on deck, service it, work on it, do whatever I have to do. Really easy. Also critical is the leveling feature. So when you're getting ready to do a passage, you're gonna be on port tack or something like that for a while, throw a few turns, kick the radar over at an angle. That way we're on a nice, starboard tack or something. You can make sure the radar is nice and level, working at its best. Works really well. So that's that. Solar, 2 LG panels, 650 watts, 660 watts or thereabouts, full power. Works great, powers the fridge and freezer, lights. They got a ton of power, no maintenance, works really, really well. Moving back over here, we have a home-built hydro generator. So this is a propeller attached to a torsion rope that drops in the water. So you lay out in a big bite, which is a big loop, the line. Then you throw the prop in. The line extends out, prop spins, transmits torque to the motor, which spins and makes electricity. So all you have to do is find a permanent magnet motor, and that's basically it. Put some diodes in the feed wire and get a prop and some torsion rope. This one actually did come off a wind generator, but there's all kinds of different motors, permanent magnet motors on eBay. You want a high voltage DC permanent magnet motor. So that works really well, lots of power while sailing. And yeah, our beautiful swim step with ladder. It makes it easy to board for a swim or coming out of the dinghy or whatever you need to do. And so finally we have lots of propane. We have 3 10-pound bottles in this locker, plus an additional 5-pound bottle for the grill. So we have 35 pounds of propane that lasts a long time. The grill, obviously more storage back here. We keep our dive gear and cleaning supplies here. We don't carry any extra water or diesel. We just rely on the tankage of the boat for that. This is all dinghy gasoline. We have a big dinghy with a really big fuel-hungry outboard, so we keep lots of gas covered in waterproof covers, keeps the sun off, keeps the rain out, keeps the fuel dry and clean, the tank's in good condition. Plus it just looks nice, so keep them covered. Finally, this is our system to pull the outboard off. So the outboard rests on this bracket. So it took me a while to discover the best way to do this, but we have this great system now. Instead of using a little purchase, we used to have a 3-to-1 here, and it's so hard to pull the engine off. Now this swings back, ties on to the top of the engine. If you back up a little bit, this line just runs right up here to the big primary winch. So we just drop the sheet off, clear the winch, load up your outboard lifting line here, and then you know, somebody stands there with the winch, can crank it, and has infinite amount of control, lots of leverage, can lift the outboard effortlessly up off the transom, drop it over the back. Bob's your uncle. So there it is, our beautiful Brewer 44 Grace. Some of its features. Oh, I'm being motioned to point out the ever important, always handy shower. In the tropics, this is used several times a day. It's got hot and cold. You can shower, rinse off. This is our primary bathing facility back here.
Fresh water.
Fresh water, yes, to clarify, that is beautiful fresh water, and that invaluable to a cruising boat. So I think that's it. Have I missed anything else?
I don't think so.
All right, well, this is Grace, our beautiful boat. See you guys later. We gotta go prepare for a storm.